All right, live, ready to go. Live action, as they say, right here on the Real Estate Speed School. So, as we get things launched into this episode, we're going to dig into mindset actions. And joining me today is Chris Pappalardo, the man with the plan, the man with the action, right?
That's right. That's right.
Absolutely. No, it's one of the goals of this is just to introduce people to leaders throughout the real estate industry, all throughout the United States, Canada, wherever. And I'm just fortunate that Chris is right here in our backyard. So this was like a no brainer. And so anyway, I just want to dig in. We're going to spend some time helping. But it actually doesn't even matter if you're a new agent. Truthfully, you could be doing
No.
this like for 15, 20 years, and every now and then we got to pull the sword back out and get it resharpened and dig in. So, but it all starts with this, the mindset and then the action, right? That's
Yep.
key number one thing. So kind
Yep.
of give us a little bit, what's that big overview of mindset?
Well, I think the game is won and lost in the mind first.
Yeah.
So Henry Ford said it best. Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right.
Yeah. That's it.
And so most agents or most people when they talk about doing real estate, they already go in with, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm scared, or they've been a veteran agent and they're like, oh, market's changed,
Right.
people change, those same things. And that's mindset. That's negative mindset. And so you got to start off with, okay, wait a minute, why am I doing this? We ask agents to make calls, meet people, talk to them. And if they're on the phone or texting or doing social media posts or anything, and they're like, "Ugh, I'm just getting through this," well, that's the results they're going to get. Whereas if they go into it with a mindset of positivity, like, "Hey, I'm here to help people, right? Who can I help? Who's going to allow me to help them?
Yeah.
Who's going to let me in and really take care of them?" It's amazing. The results are different, much different.
Yes.
So. And the way people get into a positive mindset is different. Everybody's got to find their own way. Some people meditate, some people pray, some people write down gratitudes. Some people just go outside and exercise. Positive affirmations. There's lots of different ways to get into a positive or a more appropriate mindset. And you got to find what works for you. Some people will read, some people have quiet time. But that's where it starts.
Right.
So the rest of the job is then getting into action, and if you have a bad mindset, taking action will actually help your mindset too.
100%.
Because if you sit there and get ready, you don't actually do anything, then you're going to have an even worse mindset because nothing's happening.
That's right.
And so the first step on mindset and actions is, instead of looking at an action as a success or failure, we label them outcomes.
Yep.
So if I'm calling somebody or talking to them, I'm going to get an outcome. Either yes, you can help me, or no, leave me alone, or how'd you get my number, whatever it is, I'm going to get an outcome.
That's right.
And from that outcome, I can then learn and get better.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's win or learn. And that's kind of one of the mindset things is, well, who hasn't gotten things wrong or done them poorly? It's just, did you learn something from it? So that's where it starts with mindset. And then the actions, there's only 5 actions that real estate agents have to do to be successful. That if they do these every single day, they will succeed. So the first one is you have to do what's called lead generation.
That's right.
Lead generation means a two-way conversation with another human about real estate. Now that can be person to person, face to face, text message, messenger, interaction. It's just some sort of two-way interaction. And the more people that you communicate with on a one-to-one basis, right, the better off you are. And when you do that, you're going to get responses. And then all the responses, and nobody bats 1,000. Whenever you get a negative or a outcome that you're not happy with, or it didn't end the way you wanted it to, you write that down. Don't trust your menu, you write it down. Because we're going to do something at the end of the day to get better tomorrow. And then lead generation is supposed to actually lead to action or results. And funny, Jason, the other thing is everybody, when they do lead generation, they assume for some magical reason that they're going to get all these yeses off the bat.
That's right. They forget all the little flowery, lovely comments.
I mean, 80% of success in real estate comes after 7 no's. It's the 8th or 9th communication with a person that actually leads to success. So the first job, first action is lead generation. The second one is lead follow-up.
That's it.
So you've got to actually talk to somebody and say, "Oh, I'm not moving for a year." Well, great, right? All right, great. Well, then can I call you back in 9 months to help you get ready? 9 months? I'm not moving for a year. This is why we need to talk. Right. See, it's going to take you 45 days to close on your home, maybe, and you need 45 days to maybe find a home. And this is why we should be talking later. And that's called follow-up. It's pipeline business, which is everybody wants business today, right now. And 80% of it's follow-up. So they talk to them once and then never talk to them again.
That's so true.
And then you and I are going to just politely stay in touch and provide value from here this whole year. Okay, that's what we're going to do. Let them know about rates and mortgages and getting them pre-approved and all those things. So,
and that is the best person ever. Think about that. I'm telling you what I'm doing in the future. I just raised my hand. I'm not now, but to your point, if you just stay in touch, provide outstanding value, they should never call anybody else ever, because you're the guy or the gal.
I waited 8 years to sell the house before. So he says, "Look, I am not moving till my kids are out of high school. When's that going to be? When's that going to be?" No, really, they're like, "When's that?" "Oh, he's a freshman. All right, it's 4 years. Great. Well, my daughter's in middle school. Great.
Yeah.
I'll send you market updates. I'll let you know. I get it." Now, when they get out of college, or get out of high school and go to college, and you want to leave, where are you going? What do you want to do? And we just check in. We send articles about that place or this or that. Like, just be like, has it changed? What's going on? How are you? That's wonderful. That's one of my favorite things. I know what you said you want to do. Sometimes those things change, right? Sometimes divorces happen, deaths, whatever. And it's just a way to stay in touch. We're just looking for a way to stay in touch. So finding ways to give people value is just wonderful. So that's the second one. And then the third one is, well, some people are actually going to say, "Yes, I want help."
That's right. Yeah, imagine that.
Right. So then the third thing you do is you have to go on an appointment, either a listing appointment or a buyer appointment, and actually do the actions of getting people to sign an agreement to say, "Yes, you are my person. I am choosing to work with you, and you're my person." So actually going on the appointment, which means you have to have a listing presentation, you have to have a buyer presentation, you have to know what to say on them. And again, you're going to get outcomes from those, because some people are going to say no, some people are going to say yes, right? And then when you go on the appointment, then the next phase begins. You have to negotiate. You have to negotiate contracts. You have to negotiate contracts with buyers. You have to negotiate contracts with sellers. There are markets where buyers agents aren't getting paid by the seller. There are things where sellers want to pay less. So you are negotiating not only contracts for buyers and sellers, you're negotiating contracts between your people you're working with, because there is no set fees in real estate.
That's right.
So you have to get all these things. And all these actions you're not going to do 1,000%. In fact, if you do them 30, if you hit 3 out of 10, you'll be in the Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame.
Right. They're going to put you on the wall.
I mean, seriously, right?
That's right.
So, and you're going to have all these outcomes through lead generation, through lead follow-up, going on appointments, and then negotiating contracts. And then you're going to write down all these outcomes somewhere, a book, piece of paper, somewhere. Okay. And then here is the magic that everybody skips. Because so I'll just ask you, Jason, do you think that professional athletes, high-level athletes, warm up before they go out and perform?
I would be willing to bet for hours. Yes.
Right? They actually think about it before they just go out and be like, "All right, I'm going to go perform." They actually stretch, warm up, get ready, get right in the head things.
Yes.
So it's amazing that real estate agents don't think we need to do that.
It is.
We just pick up the phone or start texting or calling people cold, and we're practicing and warming up on potential clients.
Yep.
So ironically, the last thing that is on my list that then becomes the first thing the next day is script practice and role play. You should warm up and practice whatever you got wrong the day before.
Absolutely.
If a seller says they're going with somebody else because they'll do it for less money, practice how to handle that challenge.
Yes.
Right? Like before you get it again.
Yes, sir. Because it's coming.
And the other thing is, the reason we want to script practice and role play, it's last because you want to finish the day and look at all those things, and you want to practice the next day because, as you know, and I know, you can tell people all the time they need to practice all these things until they've actually done it and gotten it wrong. They're not ready to hear it. They're not ready to practice it. They're ready to learn it.
That's right.
So it's a way for them to go, oh, wait a minute. So that person said they didn't want to talk to me, or that person said they weren't moving. Well, you could have said this. You could have said that. You could have done this. You could have provided that value. And now all of a sudden, the next day when they do it, they're going to be 1% better, which is also going to help their mindset, because any action leads to an outcome, and the outcome's not final. You can then get better from that action and be better the next day, and your confidence builds. So if you can't start with a great mindset, then get into action, document everything, make notate of all the outcomes, and then go back and practice it, feel more confident, feel better at it, and realize the goal is to help people. And then it's a cycle. Yes. Now, these are the actions these are the top 5 jobs of a real estate agent, because they're the top 5 dollar per hour activities that we can control.
That's right.
You know what's actually not on this list that everybody kind of wonders about?
What's that?
Showing houses.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, a lot of people think like, oh, showing houses, that's all we do. That's actually not a high dollar per hour activity, showing houses.
No.
It needs to be done. However,
right.
It doesn't necessarily need to be done by a high performing agent. They can have a showing person or somebody opening doors who's licensed, letting people in and out of houses. Big companies, big producers, big people pay a lot of money for people who can negotiate really, really well.
Yes.
And are listening to what people want and need.
That's right.
That is the highest dollar per hour activities that we can do as agents. And then we can have somebody that doesn't know anything show houses and report back they're interested, they're not interested, and then you can look at it.
Absolutely.
But that's not on here.
Yeah, and that's great. That's a great time leverage piece. You know, you think about how many, whatever, if you got out showing 4, 5, 6 homes, I mean, think about the hours of time, because you're going to be, you're going to be fully committed to those people. You're not going to be answering your phone and doing all these things. Mm-hmm. But if I can get someone that actually loves to show houses, mm-hmm. that actually enjoys showing houses, mm-hmm. that make it a wonderful experience, think of the people that I can reach just from being dedicated in my office, having that time set. I can reach way more people on the phone, text, instant message, whatever, mm-hmm. which is the best use of a top performer's time. Mm-hmm. No question.
And again, it's the harder, and again, showing houses is wonderful. It's an art form, and it can be done well, and yep. It can be done well. However, dollar per dollar, activities per hour, lead generation, lead follow-up, going on appointments, negotiating contract, and then script action role play, those 4 areas is where you will see your life dramatically change.
Yeah.
You can only get so good at showing houses.
Yeah. No. I mean, well said. Well, very well said. And one of the challenges, obstacles, or some of the excuses, I should say, that agents I hear is, well, I don't have anybody to role play with. And my thing is like, hey, there's 6, 7 different people rolling around in that head. Just pick a personality out. Just role play it yourself. There's plenty of people right there between your ears.
Actually, you know what, man, Jason? It's funny you mentioned. I'm so glad you brought that up. So you could go on Facebook right now and put in the search real estate role play, and you'll find hundreds of Facebook groups where they script action role play in real estate. Yeah. You could go. You could Google it. There are tons and tons of people. Now, you could even get a friend, anybody else to role play. And unless you work on an island, you're in an office by yourself, you can get somebody else in the office or wherever you work to also role play with you. And here's how to simply do it. It's 15 minutes a day, every day at the same time. You make an appointment with yourself, and and you can record it, and you can go back and forth. It doesn't need to take long. It's a warm up. However, top performers in any field warm up.
Yes.
I mean, do you think people walk on stage and do those things, and teach classes, do the things, and they haven't warmed up first?
Right.
Do they really think people just walk on cold and do these things?
Right. Yeah.
They've visualized it. They've put it in their mind. They've thought about it. I was reading about the old General Norman Schwarzkopf during all the wars, and he played all those scenarios through his head for days and weeks before he actually called the play.
Right.
And yeah, we think we're just going to pick up the phone and just, well, it's going to be instant. It's going to be great. It's going to be just simple. Bam, done.
Exactly. Well, and the thing is, if you take the time to put those reps in, as opposed to practicing on potential business, when you get those objections, you're sharper. You've got you're ready for the curveball, or whatever the case may be. And yeah, this is the number one thing, guys. If you're a struggling agent, whether it's brand new or been doing this 10 years, I always say go back to the basics and look. And the formula, I've been doing this 24 years. It hasn't changed in 24 years. It's still that predictable day wins every time.
Mm-hmm. And over time, you're gonna have sellers markets, buyers markets. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And when you actually talk to people and you start getting new objections, well, then the market is already shifting.
Yeah.
And you're actually ahead of the game. And then once you get past the first one or two that are market specific to that market, then the rest don't change.
That's right. Yes.
Sellers always want more money. Buyers always want to pay less.
That's right.
I mean, it's like, those don't change.
No.
So you just got to get past the first one or two in whatever market you're in currently, but they will tell you what their objections are, and when they're new, okay, got it. Let's go solve those problems. Now, don't just give them lip service. Solve the problem. They're telling you, here's my thing. Solve the problem.
Yeah.
Last morsel I'll give. Force protection role play. Tangible example is that we coach to is anytime somebody gives us an objection, we followed up with, somebody says, look, will you sell it for less commission? Other than commission, is there any reason you wouldn't hire me today? So no matter what they say, right? Whatever it is it other? So here's what is it? Other than, well, that agent, said they do it for force. Other than commissions, or any other reason you wouldn't hire us today? Well, they said they do, 3D photography, or whatever. Other than 3D photography, is there any reason you work with us today? Right.
That's right.
And just whatever it is, just other than whatever, insert their objection, and then isolate their objection. Oh, and I'll give you one more bonus script for everybody. People always want to be heard. Mm-hmm. So, and for high drivers like us, listening's not our strong suit, right? We want to attack something. We want to get it done. We just want to get it done.
Yep.
And we know we can get it done. However, not everybody knows that. So a way to slow down for people to make sure they're listening is when somebody tells you something, like, well, you know what? I don't want to overpay for this house. Thank you for telling me how you feel. It's called Feel, Felt, Found. And it's, thank you for sharing with us how you feel. Mm-hmm. We have had other clients that have felt that way.
Yep.
And what we have found is that in this current market, this is what you have to pay. And let me show you the data on that, so you know that you're not alone.
Yep.
Feel, felt, found really, really helps them. They're heard. They know they're not alone. And then you can give them the data, not you personally. You are not telling them. You are a consultant, not selling them on why they should either pay less, pay more, do this, do that, give in and do the repair, or don't ask for that or this. It's like, look, thanks for telling me how you feel. We've had people who have felt that way, and what we have found is, bam. That's my second one.
Yeah, no, that's solid gold. If you guys are not taking notes, you better. And the second thing I would say is watch this about 3 times, because this is a roadmap. This is your roadmap to success. And two, one of the things I want to point out, Chris said that it's the daily habits.
Mhm.
And because you're doing this daily, you're not going to be surprised when the market shifts, because you've already had 60, 70, 80 more conversations
Mhm.
than that agent out there that's, well, maybe dabbling in real estate, or they, they're going to, they talk about it on church on Sunday or whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
But it's that daily discipline
Mhm.
that it just sets you apart. And one thing I have found in real estate, we don't have to recreate the wheel. I mean, this stuff's been around a long time, and just get that daily discipline, get in those habits, and then practice. Like, I mean, role play is just one of the most simple, I think, warm ups you can do for sure. And guys, you just, if you're not doing it, it's just an excuse. And I would
Yeah,
just challenge you.
it'll catapult your real estate business in your life. That's what will really make things take off.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
and then everybody says, "Well, I want to know what to say first." I'm like, "No, actually, get it wrong. Just say hi. Can I help you?" And they say no, right? And just get better.
Yeah,
Just you got to do it and then practice. Not practice, practice, practice. Then just get busy. Just
yeah.
do it.
That's it. That's it. All right, my friend. This was awesome. Thank you guys for tuning in. You're listening to Real Estate Speed School. My good friend Chris Pappalardo, right here in the Mecca of North Carolina, and he's an outstanding coach. He travels all around the United States, teaching people these exact same principles. And it's just the ones that are going to step up and do it are the ones that we're going to get to see from the stage. And as my good friend Jay Kinder says, we'll either see you at the top or we'll see you from the top. So, everybody have an awesome day, and we will see you back next week on Real Estate Speed School.